with Shanahan on Saturday night, I thought he had a very distinct Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood vibe with the way that he had shaved. And he was drinking some milkshakes Saturday night. He's getting ready to drink some milkshakes on Sunday. What do you think the chess match is then? Because at some point, isn't Kyle going to zig when McVay thinks he's going to zag? Isn't there going to be one of these games where Kyle says they're going to be loaded up to stop the run? They're going to think, this is how I'm going to screw them over in the run game, so I'm going to do something else instead. At some point, don't you have to switch back to southpaw like Rocky and Rocky 2?
You do. I just think what's crazy about this one is I think both sides know the zag factor, to your point, for a lack of a better way to say it. They know how one team zigs, and I know what he likes to do when he zags. That's where it is really amazing that way. Shanahan in the second half of the football game in the matchup in Week 18, he found a few different wrinkles on the run game that gave the Rams some issues. I think that was an issue. The 49ers defense played phenomenal in the second half. They kept a few blitzes in their pocket just to unleash in the third and fourth quarter, where it's like, hey, you didn't see this the first half, and then all of a sudden third quarter comes in and they ran a few different defenses. I think that caught the Rams by surprise. So yes, there is that aspect, but I do think this is one where they know each other so well. Both are creative, and to me, sometimes, Mike, when these games go on, I look at Shanahan as being a little more creative than McVay. If I give McVay an advantage in any department, I think McVay's a little better at managing football games, right? He won't mess them up sometimes by just being overly aggressive. But the other reason I just look at it sometimes in these games where the creative guy, it's just creative every week and boom, boom, and you just got to be ready for everything. McVay's a little bit of like, wait, this is what we do. And it's not always overly complicated, but I got some checks and balances where if I like to run the inside zone, we got the speed sweep or, the cutback zone off of it to where you can't overplay those things. It's a little simple, but the formula works that way. Sometimes in these games, I look at that guy as having an advantage because you don't really know how that guy's going to zag. You go, well, wait, this is what they always do. We've studied it, and this is what they do. This is it. And it's that guy that's maybe a hair more simple that has the advantage in this game and go, well, they've never seen this. You better watch out. And I think some of that happened in the Tampa Bay game last week, and I think McVay had a really good game plan of packaging plays together according to the defenses to where Stafford could check things at the line of scrimmage. So, man, there's so many interesting angles here. I don't even know where to begin. I don't know if I can explain them all, and I'm sorry for talking so long. Maybe I'm blabbering.
I mean, my standard rule. We've been doing this long enough. Anytime you think you're talking too long, you are talking too long.
Because I know I am.
Anytime
I know,
you think it. But I thought it was fine. Okay. I think it's fine. In this context, it's fine because it's a complicated game to try to understand.
Yeah.
We're both trying to make our picks. Tune in 5 p.m. Eastern on Peacock and Sirius XM 85 for the Joint Mega Picks podcast. But
yeah,
at a certain point, I look at it this way. The Rams have so many great players.
Yes.
And if you have great players who are playing great, that's the key. If you have great players who are playing great, it becomes something that overpowers coaching. It overpowers game planning. It overpowers whatever the coaches may try to do to affect the game.
Yes.
At the end of the day, we just have a better team of players, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I hear what you're saying. The Rams kind of have that mojo. They do. And, the fact that we've seen it all kind of just still come together. It's a little like Tampa last year where we feel like it really came together at the end of the year, and here is the playoffs, and they're continuing to go here, and it's still at an upward trend as we go into the NFC Championship game. And you start to go, well, damn. It's good right now. Other than just stupid mistakes last week. When they played their A-plus football, you look at it and go, nobody had better A-plus football on divisional weekend than the Los Angeles Rams on both sides of the ball. And I think that's what is scary for the 49ers a little bit, because I think it is a Rams team that realized even in Week 18, they hadn't reached their full potential. And they messed a few situations up in that game. So I hear you there. And the Rams, I think, as a total, you take the starters, I agree with you. They're more talented. I don't know if they have the depth the 49ers do, too. That's what I think plays into factor a little bit in this game, too, and why the 49ers have been able to eke out the wins late in the game. Because, Hey, Aaron Donald, he barely ever comes off the field. Like we've talked about in the offseason, the Rams are an all-star team. It's like they got 22 guys, and they go, we're awesome with our 22, and try to beat us. But when they get in some of these, fights, alley fights with the 49ers got a little depth, and they're a little bit bigger of a football team, and they wear down the Rams. And that's a little what happened in that Week 18 matchup.
I think back to, and I'm trying to just understand how Sean McVay is going to approach this and where he's going to look for his lessons. But I remember when the Cardinals and the Rams got together early this year, one of the narratives was Sean McVay has kicked the crap out of the Cardinals every time he's ever played them. 8-0. At some point that's got to end.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if he finds motivation, and at some point it's got to end. And one of the reasons the Cardinals finally beat the Rams, at that point of the season, the Cardinals had better players who were playing better at the time.
Right.
So that's what I keep coming back to. Great players playing great right now. Right now, not in December or November, but right now. And you see where the trend is, and the trend can change at any time. But look at what happened on Saturday night. The 49ers had no business beating the Packers. No business beating the Packers. It was special teams failure in every phase of the special teams, literally.
You're right.
That allowed the 49ers to steal that game.
Yep.
And the Rams should have blown out the Buccaneers, avoided the somehow, some way Buccaneers tie it up. And in so doing, I think gave themselves confidence that they get into a tough spot. They're going to access something that gets them through it. And that Stafford throw in the clutch, in that moment when it was all going against the Rams, that's the icing on top of the foundation they've put in place. I'm talking myself into thinking the Rams are going to win this game just because even though Shanahan has mastered McVay, and also, I think that adds – like, at some point, it's got to end.
Yeah, I got you.
This isn't going to continue forever. They're both too good at what they do. This isn't like McVay's some schlub. At some point, he is going to put in those extra 2 hours.
Right.
He is going to find that extra little thing that gives him an edge at the right time, or realize, I don't need it because I got a kick-ass team that's kicking ass right now.
Yeah, I hear you. And, Mike, we talk sometimes, too, like – what is the most dangerous team? Sometimes it's that team that, we know the Rams are talented, to your point, but they won a game and they made some crucial mistakes. So now, hey, we're happy we won, but there's still an edge in the building about, like, man, we could play better, and if we do that again this week, we're going to lose and not go to the Super Bowl. I think sometimes that's the best way to get through to a football team on a week like this. Like, hey, we won. We did a lot of awesome things, but we almost messed it up. So no one's going to be like, leaning back in their chair going, oh, man, we're rolling right now. We're awesome. They're going to be a little scared and worried about fixing some of the mistakes they made in the second half of that Buccaneers game. Some things that I think jump out to me a little bit, and you made me think of them as you were talking there. I think there's some things the Rams can take from the Packers last week in that meeting on the defensive side of the ball and take it. And so, the Packers did some good things against Shanahan in the run game. Run game never got off. And because of that, the offense never looked great. And if it weren't for the special teams, you're right. They're not going to win the football game. They're not. Rams have phenomenal special teams. They're going to be able to look at the Packers game and go, we can do some of this stuff. I have a hard time thinking this week, this game, Rams are going to go all in on we're going to stop the run, and if we lose because Jimmy Garoppolo beats us with his right arm, then so be it. But we got to see it to believe it. That's the approach I would be taking if I'm the Rams, definitely. And I also do, Mike, like watching back Week 18's matchup last night a little bit. On the offensive side of the ball, there were so many plays in the second half where the Rams, they run plays into looks where you go, man, you're going to run the ball into that look? I know you're well coached and you guys know how to block it, but damn, they got a lot of guys in the box, and this is not the greatest run look in the world. They were a little stubborn that way in their matchups against the 49ers. Last week, I saw adjustments when they got those kind of looks from the Tampa defense. Like, oh, you want to stop the run here on the first or second drive of the game? And then you'd see Stafford do something like this, and it was set Hunt, and it was fake the run and play action, and the Bucs were all worried about stopping the run, and there's Cooper Kupp running over the middle wide open. So I think that'll be a factor in the game, too, where McVay's going to have to know he's going to have to package some plays on the offensive side of the ball a little differently than maybe in the past against the 49ers.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.